What you guys, this Windows 11 install changes everything. Now, answer files, unattended.xml files have been offered by Microsoft. These modify the Windows settings in your image during the setup process of Windows 11 or Windows 10. So basically, you can create and modify an answer file that Microsoft offer, which will allow you to set up the PC how you like it, i.e. remove all the bloat and make all the settings and changes that you want to during the setup and install process. And it tells you all about this on Microsoft's own website. So it's completely legit, and it's something that Microsoft have been offering for a very long time. The automated Windows setup answer file, like autounattened.xml file, is something that you can drop into the ISO file itself, or you can drop it inside the USB flash drive where the Windows installation media is, and it will run during the installation setup process of Windows, and it will change all of the settings that you have in that answer file. I'll leave all the links for this information in the video description. There is a generated autounattened.xml file website where you can customize your own auto-unattended XML files. I've made videos on this in the past. It's very powerful and very useful way of installing Windows. So you can customize the auto-unattended XML file the way you like, with all the settings you want. So the time you get to the desktop, your PC will be exactly how you wanted it. So there'll be no going into the settings and changing all your settings, uninstalling applications. It will all be done during the installation process. First, you're going to need a Windows 11 ISO file. You can get that from Microsoft because this is the ISO file that we're going to use to install our operating system. Now, you can do this on Windows 10 as well, but we're going to be using Windows 11 for this tutorial. It's this section right here: download Windows 11 disk image ISO for x64 devices. Use the drop down arrow boxes to choose your language and download your ISO file. Now we're going to use Winhance, the Windows enhancement utility tool, by memory, and we're going to use this to customize our auto unattended XML file. Remember, we're not customizing the operating system at the desktop. We are creating a auto unattended XML file by using Winhance's tool. So this tool is very powerful, but it's really great for creating auto unattended XML files for clean installations of Windows 11. So we're going to start off on the software and apps section right here. This is for Windows 11, and we're in the Windows apps and features. If you want it for Windows 10, there's a little toggle button up here saying Windows version filter, and it will then give you the Windows 10 features that you can enable if you want to do it for Windows 10. All of the ones that are checked marked will be uninstalled and removed from the installation. I've left Calculator, Notepad, Photos, Terminal, and also Paint. This is for my installation for my PC. This is not designed for your installation. You can choose whatever you like if you choose to use Winhance yourself. So I've checkmarked all the stuff I want to be removed during the installation process of Windows 11. Everyone's computer requirements are different, so you choose the settings you want to use on your PC. Under the Windows compatibilities, you can see right here, we have a bunch of options that I've checkmarked. I've left Open SSH client, Windows Media Player, and also PowerShell to be installed on the system. All of the other stuff will be removed during the installation process. On the Windows optional features, I've left the .NET Framework 3.5, Subsystem for Linux, Hyper-V, Windows Hypervisor Platform, Hyper-V Management Tools, Windows Sandbox, and also I've checkmarked Recall for Windows Recall. I don't want that on the system. All of the rest will be left uncheckmarked, and they will be installed on the system because they're useful features that I use on an installation, and all the other stuff I don't use, so I've left checkmarked. So that's pretty much how you can set up those options right there. And they're just checkboxes that you can checkmark the stuff to remove and uncheck if you want it to be installed. So Notepad is something that I would use, so I've left that unchecked to be installed on the system during the setup. Let's move on to the optimization. You can see There is a ton of settings inside here, and I've gone through this in my own time to check mark what I want. You can see user account control level. I leave this as is on default. I know some people like to turn this off. I personally leave it on as a line of defense, but you can do whatever you like with your setup on your system. This is for my PC. So Wi-Fi sense, I've disabled. Automatic maintenance, I've disabled. Windows error reporting and remote assistance, I've disabled all of those. I don't want those running. And moving on down, you can see there's another load here. Add suggestions and promotional content, I've set that to deny. And content delivery, I've turned all these off, like subscribe content, feature management, and so on. All of that stuff has been turned off. You can do all of this in Group Policy Editor, but Winhance is helping you to create your own custom auto unattended XML files with all your settings that you want to disable or enable during the Windows installation process. So you can see right here, online speech recognition, narrator, all that stuff I've turned off. The lock screen, all of those features I've turned off as well. I don't need any of this stuff turned on. I don't use it. So I would only turn it off when I get to the desktop. So I might as well do it while I am installing Windows during the Windows installation setup process. You can see right here, send diagnostic data, improve inking and typing, tailored experiences, allow Windows to ask for your feedback. This is all this section right here on the privacy and security. These will all be turned off once I've installed Windows automatically. I won't have to go in here and deal with all of this stuff. It's going to be turned off using the auto unattended XML file. So the search permissions, again, I've gone through here and turned all this stuff off. I don't use cloud content search for Microsoft, and I disable all of the features like allow Cortana to run, locational services. I don't use any of that stuff. I have left the camera access and microphone access right here because I do use that on my computer. We also have power plan options right here. I've left this on balance, but again, you can delete some of these power plans and you can select which ones you want, like ultimate performance power plan. I don't use that. I just use the balanced power plan with my setup, but you can just click on these little crosses here and it will remove those power plans from your computer. So I just leave mine on balanced. Turn off the display, I've set to never because I leave my display on. Turn off the hard disk as well. I do not allow my PC to turn off the hard disk because I'm always doing things in the background. So I've just got these set up the way I like for my PC. Desktop background slideshow, I don't disable that, I have that enabled, but some people like to turn that off. You've got your hibernation. I've completely turned off hibernation. I don't let the PC hibernate, but some people might want to do that. And if that's your case, then you would obviously customize these settings to the way you want. There is some custom settings here, which might be for gamers and people that really want to mess around with this sort of stuff like CPU, core parking, and all that sort of stuff. I leave these well alone. I don't bother with those. But if you do want to customize those, then you can unlock them and mess around with them. I just leave these as is. I've never bothered with this sort of stuff. But if that's something that you like to customize on your system, then by all means do so. Go in there and customize them. Disable power throttling. I've just toggled that on right there. And of course, we've got some other things in here which you can customize as well. It's all pretty self-explanatory. It's the sort of thing that you would set up when you get your Windows installed anyway, like game mode and also enhanced pointer precision. You would go in and turn that off. Storage sense, I don't use storage sense on my PC, but if you do, then you can leave it well alone and you can just basically customize this the way you like it on your PC. You can see GPU priority for gaming and also hardware acceleration for GPU scheduling. You can basically turn that on if you want. And there's a bunch of other stuff like to do with Xbox. If you use Xbox, then I'd advise you to leave the Xbox stuff alone. I've generally left the Xbox off because I don't use Xbox on my system. Now, these are just rocker buttons right here. They just toggle on and toggle off. Let me just quickly show you here. So if you did want to enable this, all you would need to do is configure this the way you like. So you would just toggle these buttons on and off, just like so. and customize it the way you like. On the system services right here, you can set this up the way you want if you're going to be using this to set up your own auto unattended XML file. Again, this is a how-to video, not a to-do video. This is not telling you to do something. This is giving you a how to do something. You choose whether you want to do it or not. So let's take a look right here at the settings I've got set right here under the scheduled tasks here. These are a bunch of stuff I don't use or need, so I'm going to turn all those off. The visual effects thing, really, it's not going to give you that much of a boost, but you can customize it right here, especially things like drop shadows and things like that. They can use a lot of system resources. And if you're doing this on a really old system, it can use a lot of utilization. So doing this will help a little bit for older PCs. I've not seen much benefit on new computers, if I'm honest. The next section is down to accessibility, and you've got the narrator and all that stuff. I've just turned all that stuff off right here. Now, the Windows update policy right here, I've got this set to security updates only. That's how I have mine set up on my PC anyway. But if you want it to receive feature updates and all that sort of stuff, then that setting right there would be no good to you. You would need to change it. And coming down here, you can see I've pretty much turned all this stuff off right here. I have left the Windows security notifications and also notify when apps request location. I've left those toggled on for use. System and maintenance notifications, I've left that on as well. And I've turned off all of the other stuff like startup sound during boot up and things like that. You can pretty much set that up the way you like on your system. Now, going to the customization, this is customizing the look and feel of Windows 11. I've gone for dark mode here, and I've also transparency effect. I've turned that off, but you can have the transparency effect if you want on, but this just makes one big black dark bar if you turn it off. And I've gone through all of taskbar alignment here. I've got that in the center. Some people like it to the left. That's entirely up to you. Show your widgets and stuff like that. I turn all that stuff off. Show task view button, I turn that off there as well. And of course the search bar icon, I leave it as an icon, like a little tiny icon. Some people hide that completely. All of this sort of stuff I just turn off as well. I've disabled the Bing search results. I've turned that on to disable that. And you can see there's a bunch of other stuff like dynamic lighting and things like that. In the general section, I have Open File Explorer to this PC. You can set it the way you like there. And again, show recently used files. I've turned all that stuff off. I don't need to see all that stuff. And I've got these set to on and off right here. You can see show hidden files, folders and drives. I turn that on, and you can set it up the way you like on your system. Show drive letters, I have that on, and a bunch of other settings here as well. Show the gallery, show the home folder. I turn all that stuff off. And show libraries, I turn that off. Show all folders, I turn that all off. But again, if you want to show the home folder, you can just turn them off if you want to, like so. Again, enable the Windows photo viewer. I've turned all that off, and basically have it the way you like it. And if you hover over them, it gives you a little bubble with the registry file right there and what the settings would be if you enable or disable it. So quite a useful little tool for setting up your settings. Now, you can run it straight from here at the desktop and it will make all these changes for you, but I'm trying to create a auto unattended XML file for my installation. So I'm going to create on the advanced tools, create an auto unattended XML, as you can see right here. It's going to go ahead and generate this for us and add it to a Windows ISO file if you want to. You can just download the auto unattended XML file if you want and just drop it into your USB flash drive, or you can add it to the actual ISO file. And I've already downloaded the auto unattended XML file here, and I'm going to save it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add this into our ISO file. So you can use the wimutil feature to add this file to a Windows ISO file if you want to, or you could just manually copy it to the root of that Windows installation media, like I've already said. And this will help to set up your operating system the way you like. So if you want to inject it into an ISO file, you would just select the ISO that we just downloaded from the Microsoft website. I've just done that right here. Select the working directory where you want to work out of, and all you need to do is select the folder right here. So let's just go ahead and select the folder we want to work out of. So I'm just going to go ahead and select documents right here and click OK. And we're pretty much good there. We've got our selected Windows ISO and selected working directory. So we're going to start the extraction right here. So it's going to extract those files and put them into that working directory. And basically, once we inject it, it will rebuild it and create the ISO file again for us. This is putting it inside the actual ISO file and not actually letting you drop it into the actual bootable USB flash drive. So if you want to integrate it into the ISO itself. So we can see now, we can now convert to ESD if I wanted to compress the ISO file a little bit more and save 2.24 gigabytes. I'm not going to bother doing that, but if you do, then by all means, that's what you need to do there by clicking this one here, and it will convert WIM to ESD format. This is an optional measure, but I'm going to leave this alone. So from here, we can generate and add the Winhance XML file right here by clicking generate. And we've got download and add unattended winstall XML. And we've also got select the Windows XML file. So we've got options available to us right here available. So we can generate an auto unattended XML file. I've already saved it. It's right here. So I'm going to select it. And we've now selected that file. And that's what's going to be injected into the ISO file. So we've now got that selected right here. And you can extract and add drivers. Now, of course, if you don't want drivers added, then you don't have to. But if you've got, say, for instance, your own drivers that you want to add into your ISO, you can do. Just remember that's going to make the ISO file a little bit bigger. And you can extract and add drivers from the current operating system, which is recommended. I'm running this on a virtual machine, so it's not going to benefit me at all. So if you are going to inject all your drivers, then you can add and extract all of those drivers there. Or you can add other drivers right here by selecting those which you've downloaded from the manufacturer's website and inject those into the ISO as well. Another easy option for you is create a driver folder and put them into the USB flash drive and just drop them in there as well. You don't have to inject them into the ISO if you don't want to, if you're going to install this on multiple different computers with different hardware. That's what I'd advise. So create a new ISO file, select that right here, download and install the file that is required to basically rebuild the ISO file. So we can go ahead and hit the download button. And this is going to be the official Windows ADK will be downloaded and the development tools installed for you on the system. And this is coming straight from Microsoft. The download time will depend on your internet speed, so be patient because it is downloading this from Microsoft servers. And you should see something popping up here. Just going to select the pictures directory. It's going to name the file Winhance_Windows ISO, and that's what it's going to call it. And you can see it's already downloaded and installed, ready to go. So now we can create our ISO file by clicking Create ISO, and it's going to put that into our pictures directory on our Windows system. And it's going to be called Winhance_Windows.ISO, which is what we named it. So let's go ahead and let that finish off. And once that's done, we'll be ready to install this version of Windows on our PC. It should look something like this when it's done. Your Windows installation ISO has been successfully created, and there it is in our pictures directory right here where I put it. It's 7.2 gigabytes. That's because we didn't compress from WIM to ESD. But that's okay. That's good enough for us. I'll just drop this onto WinToy, and I would install it via that method anyway because it's integrated into the ISO file. But again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this out because we finished with the Winhance utility by Memory. So a big thanks to Memory for creating that for the community. Download the media creation tool if you want to use this method for just dropping the auto unattended XML file into a bootable USB flash drive with Windows 11 on it. This way you've downloaded Windows 11 from Microsoft and it will download the very latest version. You can choose all the settings that you want in the media creation tool right here. You won't have to do this method if you've injected the auto unattended XML file into the ISO file. You can use Rufus or something like that to basically create a bootable USB flash drive with that ISO that you created. But if you want to create a standard Windows 11 bootable USB flash drive and then just drop the auto unattended XML file in, then this is what you can do. You can download the media creation tool right here. It's going to download the latest Windows 11 ISO file, and it's going to create that bootable USB flash drive for you using a clean Windows 11 ISO file from Microsoft. And once it's finished creating your USB flash drive like so, you can open up the USB flash drive like so. I'll quickly show you here. So we're going to go into our Explorer and we should be able to see our USB flash drive right here. And all you'd need to do here in this stage is just drop in your auto unattended XML file that you created with the Winhance utility, and it's dropped right inside here. You can also create a folder for drivers if you didn't want to integrate all of your drivers, and call it drivers. Download all the drivers you need from the manufacturer's website and just drop them into that folder as well. I'm just going to do this one right here just to show you, and this is the network driver for my motherboard, so I'd have internet access straight away, and that's basically it. So let's go ahead and get this installed on the system. I'll speed this right up so you don't have to sit back and wait, and once we get to the desktop you'll see exactly what it looks like once we've installed Windows. Now of course remember, we are using our auto unattended XML file that was generated by the Winhance utility tool. So once you go through and select all of your build that you want to install, for instance Windows 11 Pro in my case, I'm going to speed this all up and get to the desktop as quick as possible. So let's get this speeded up right here, and it's going to speed right through the installation process. And once we get to the desktop, you'll see exactly how clean this actually looks, and this makes Windows 11 a much more usable operating system in my opinion. As you can see right here, super clean, no problems whatsoever, and again there's no bloat inside here. All of the settings that you set in the auto unattended XML file have been injected into this operating system during the installation setup process. You'll need to probably do some updates here, and I can install some drivers. If I had those on my USB flash drive, I would just have to go in and install some of those. It's done most of those and pulled them down during the installation process, as you'd expect. And this will give you a nice clean installation, and again it's customized to your liking, and it's obviously supported by Microsoft because they have it on their own website on how to create these auto unattended XML files for your installation. And these were designed for companies that want to install this across the network on loads of different computers and get them set up exactly how they like them. And this is it. It's nice and clean. As you can see here, all of the filler has been removed, and you don't have to go through and set this up. It's been set up for you. And like I've told you many years ago when I was making videos on this exact same topic, this is the way to set up Windows in a nice, clean, easy environment. You just set it off and walk away, and it will go ahead and install Windows 11 with all the settings that you set up in the auto unattended XML file. I've been doing this for many years, and this is a simple way of setting up Windows, and that's probably why a lot of companies still use this method today. Especially when you're setting up hundreds of computers, you don't want to have to go through and set this up on every single computer. You can set this up and it will do it across the network with all of those computers set up simultaneously. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who join my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the very next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.